Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is Mr. Cunningham. And remember yesterday we were talking about rate of change and how rate of change when we talk about graphing is usually referred to as slope. So today what we're going to be doing is we're going to be looking at how we find slope. Many of you may already know how to find slope, but if that's the case, just use this as a review tool. Also, something that might be a good idea is to take some notes over this, because after this video, you're going to have an assignment that's over finding slope two different ways. So let's look at how we can find slope looking at the graph and also by looking at the points. So let's talk about slope and how we can find slope using a line and also find slope by using an equation from 2 points. So slope, as you probably already know, is equal to the rise in a line over the run in a line. And some of you might know what that means already. If you don't, it's no big deal. I'm getting ready to go over it. So we can find slope in two ways. And the first way is by looking at the graph of a line. The second way is by using a slope equation. And we'll go over both of these ways. The first one we'll look at is to look at the graph. So remember, slope is equal to rise over run, so rise is up and down, and run is left or right. So the first thing we need to do is we need to pick out 2 points, and these 2 points are already labeled for us. So to find the slope of this line, all that we need to do is do rise, so we go from the bottom right point, we'll go up 2 and then left 1. So this is where we get the rise over run. So we take our 2, put it over top, and then we go left 1. So because we go left, that we're going to write minus 1. So the slope of this line is actually going to be negative 2. Okay? So let's look at one more of how we can find the slope. So here we have, remember, slope is equal to rise over run. So first thing we need to do is go up or down, and then either left or right. So we'll go up 1 and then to the right 2. So both of those numbers would be positive, because if we go up, that number is positive, and if we go to the right, it is positive. So we go up 1 and right 2. And because our slope is equal to the rise over the run, then we have 1 over 2, which is the same thing as 1/2. So our slope of this line would be called 1/2. But there's other ways we can also find slope. And this way is using the slope formula. So if you would use this in a case where you don't want to graph a line, or you're just given the points. So an example of this would be if you're given point A and point B. Okay, so in this equation, we take the y-coordinate, or y2, and subtract the y-coordinate of another point, or y1. Another way, or we take our x-coordinate, called x2, and subtract our x-coordinate, x1. This is something you might want to write down so that you can look at it for future reference. So you might want to write down what's written in yellow at the top of the screen. So let's look at how we can do these types of problems. So let's say we have 2 points. So we have point A, which will be 2, 3, and then we have point B, which will be 1, 1. So looking back to our equation, remember it's y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So we'll take our y2 coordinate, which is written, so it's in point B, so our y coordinate, or y2, would be 1, and then our y1 coordinate would be from point A, so that would be 3. Then we'll go down, and our x2 coordinate would be in point B, which would be 1, and then our x1 coordinate would be in point A, which would be 2. So that kind of probably sounded real confusing, but here's how we can look at it. So here's that problem worked out. So our slope is going to be equal to 1 minus 3, which is our y2 minus our y1 coordinate, over 1 minus 2, which is our x2 and our x1 coordinate. So all we do is we subtract these. So 1 minus 3 is negative 2, and 1 minus 2 is negative 1. So that gives us our slope, negative 2 over negative 1. But when you divide two negative numbers, the negatives cancel each other out, so the slope of this line would be positive 2. Well, that's going to wrap up our little mini lesson over slope and how we find slope. If you have any questions, hang on to them until tomorrow. I'll be back again on Friday, and we can talk about some of the problems that you had. So good luck on your assignment, and have a good day.